Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, today we're going to be talking about this princess up here and more specifically how to defeat Magik. Now Magik has been in the game forever. She's one of the oldest champions. She actually originally wasn't working the way she is right now. She did get buffed. She was one of the earliest buffed champions, but ever since she did get that buff, she has been relatively annoying to go up against, especially if you do happen to fight a really stacked Magik. There was a time in the game where there were hardly any counters. Now, during these days, we do have a plethora of champions that can take Magik down, but you still need to know exactly what you're doing. She is one of those champions where quite frequently I get asked, how do I defeat this Magik in that quest? How do I deal with that Magik in this quest? Or just in general, what do I do against Magik? Why do I die all the time? Right, and that is a good question. Why do you die all the time to Magik? Because she doesn't have a wade, she doesn't have unstoppable, she doesn't auto block, she doesn't go invisible. There is no unblockable specials, and all of them are easy to be outranged. So what is the deal with Magik, right? Well, the deal is a limbo. It deals damage to you every time it activates, and any damage Magik takes during the time limbo is active, she just heals back up straight away. So attacking her while she's in limbo with many champions can be absolutely pointless, and the more you attack her, the more power she gets, and the more she has the chance to enter the limbo, and therefore, again, you just seem to be in a very bad cycle. And that especially obviously is highlighted with her awakened ability. The higher the sig level, the more chance she has to enter limbo every single time she fills a bar of power. Now, here is the one first very useful tip against fighting Magik, if possible at all, and there is anything being left to chance whatsoever. Try not to push her past 1 bar of power, because then she has the least amount of potential in entering the limbo. When you push her to 2 or 3 bars of power, she's practically guaranteed to get that limbo proc. So that is a very important thing to kind of like mention at the very start. Right, but how do you defeat Magik handily without taking tons of damage? Because if you're going up against stacked Magik, a single limbo trigger can frequently take down half or all of your health pool. Right, there are 3 main ways how people deal with Magik, and they are actually fairly simple. You see, most of the damage from Magik comes at a time when she fills a bar of power, because then she enters limbo for 3 seconds, or has a chance to do so. So the first answer is very straightforward and obvious. Don't let her fill a bar of power. Use power control champions and power lock her completely, and problem solved. She doesn't gain power, she can't throw special attacks, she doesn't trigger limbo through throwing special attacks, and on top of that, she never fills a bar of power, so limbo is not activated. Now I will show a fight example for every single one of these 3 examples, and then I'm gonna mention some champions that work for that. So let's start up with the fight example. Now, for this fight in particular, I have chosen Dormammu. Now, Dormammu isn't the greatest champion in the game, but it is working perfectly in this demonstration. Right, so basically Dormammu can power drain on his medium hits. Now, I'm not trying to play this fight perfectly. I'm not trying to do the most amount of damage or do any crazy rotation with Dormammu. Just simply showcase the fact that Dormammu can spend entire fight up against Magik that is significantly higher ranked than himself, and never let her reach a bar of power. So in cases where Magik does not have any extra power gain, it is going to be very simple using power control champions to absolutely dominate that fight. Now I can fast forward it just so we don't have to sit through it all, because Dormammu obviously likes to take his time. But yeah, so you can see that the entire fight goes by, and she's basically at no power there whatsoever. So power control is the first thing that you do want to look for. Which champions? Typically, when you're looking at power control, most commonly you can find it in tech and mystic classes. So some of the examples there that would work fantastic could be OG Vision. Because of his synthesis and power drain, you can slow play it in a way where she never reaches a bar of power. Now, with several other power control champions, she will fill a bar of power now and then, but still will make a fight significantly easier for you, like Vision Age of Ultron. If she happens to have willpower on, and if we're doing that fight in Alliance War, then Warlock can obviously make sure she never reaches a bar power as well. On top of that, where are other fantastic options? Punisher 2099 can go and absolutely destroy Magik by basically shutting down her combat power rate as well. So in those circumstances, he will work phenomenally. And then we obviously have Magik on Magik violence, because Magik herself is one of the best power control champions. So that is gonna work extraordinarily well. And who else we have here? As I already mentioned, Dormammu, Dr. Voodoo can work fantastic against Magik also. Right. What else then? What else? Well, the second point is ability accuracy reduction. And to deal with ability accuracy reduction, once again, I need to double check which clip is loaded here. We're gonna need to enlist help of Falcon, right? So ability accuracy reduction can be manifested through several ways and many different champions, but typically it just means that you are affecting her chances to trigger this limbo whenever she would fill a bar power. So you're not preventing her from gaining power, you're just reducing her ability accuracy and making sure that she does not trigger that limbo. So let's roll the clip. We're going to be using Falcon for this example. And Falcon has a lock-on mechanic where you lower opponent's defensive ability accuracy by 100%. So basically, you're all but guaranteed not to trigger that limbo. So you can fight pretty much normally. Just keep an eye out for your lock-on, and obviously pause the fight and delay a bit when your lock-on is expired. Like right now, so you do not want to be striking her whilst your lock-on's on cooldown. Regain your lock-on, and you're going to be good to go like right now. So very quick and simple fight here. No need to watch all of it. We can just see that that limbo never ever triggers. Right, which champions you want to look at for ability accuracy reduction? Well, most of them actually live in skill and mutant class. Obviously, I'm not going to try and find every single champion, but examples will include Aegon or 500 hit combo. Archangel famously absolutely destroys Magik. Black Panther, actually, after the buff, will end up being quite good counter as well. Black Widow was kind of like OG counter to Magik, or one of the OG counters. Then we have Black Widow Deadly Origins. We have Blade that can lower ability accuracy. Crossbones, technically Cable as well if you get to level 2, but it's not ideal, but it can work. And who else we have there? Domino, Electra can do that very well. We have Gambit, who can shut her down, obviously. Gambit also can shut her down in the last method that I'm going to describe, and Gambit's going to be featured in this video later. But Gambit has Concussion on level 2. Falcon has Lock On. And yeah, well, as I said, we're not going to try and find all of them, but there are more options here in skill class and mutant class as well. So as long as you manage to reduce her ability accuracy, you're going to be good to go. That limbo won't proc, or even if you have a chance to reduce the ability accuracy, then that will kind of be good enough as well, because then her chances to proc will be reduced, and most of the time it will not trigger. Now, whilst I'm talking about ability accuracy reduction, I do want to showcase the Pacify Mastery. So if you are able of stunning Magik, having Pacify Mastery can be very useful, and trying to push her past the power bar limit, power bar thresholds, whilst she's under the effect of stun, will also significantly help you reduce the chances of her proccing that limbo. So if you have a champion that reduces her ability accuracy by like 50, 60, 40%, and you have Pacify Mastery maxed and you play your cards right, you can extend that to pretty much 100% ability accuracy reduction, where you do not have to worry about limbo at all. And then we do still have our main, we do still have, not main, but the last control mechanism against limbo, because there are champions who simply do not take passive damage or can significantly mitigate it. And to demonstrate that, I will once again roll a fight here, and in this fight we're going to be using Gambit. And Gambit has, after his buff, has an ability where he does not take any passive damage basically from his passive damage back from his medium, heavy, and special attacks. So only thing that I need to make sure in this fight is that whenever I push her past bar of power, I use either special, either heavy, or a medium attack. And whenever she would trigger limbo, I will take absolutely no damage from it. Now, so far, here we can see that limbo has been triggered, but I'm taking no damage from it. So it's very easy. Just make sure that you push her past the bar of power using either your heavy, either your medium, or special attacks, and you're good to go. It's exactly the same with Omega Red as well. Omega Red, they're defined as tentacle hits, but it's all of his mediums, heavies, or special attacks. And yeah, you're just not going to take any damage. So you're not stopping her power gain, you're not dropping her ability accuracy, you're just not taking any damage from Limbo. And that these days we have had more and more champions introduced who can do that. And we have a couple of other sources that we can take a look at. Now, as I mentioned already, we have Omega Red, we have Gambit. I believe now we also have, is Strife one of them? I should have double checked on Strife, but I know that we have Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, who also has that mechanic built in. And on top of that, we can go to Science class, where we have Gladiator Hulk, who takes the damage but regenerates about 75% of the damage taken from this method. So it is additional way how to basically cope with Magik. You either do not take the limbo damage or hardly any. Speaking of limbo in itself, it is very important to note that limbo is energy damage. Therefore, any champion that is classed as that has extra energy resistance will be having quite good time against limbo. For instance, Guardian has ridiculously high energy resistance if he is high sig level. Therefore, you will take some damage from limbo with Guardian, but it will be relatively negligible. And then there are some other examples with high energy resistance like Havoc, like Sorcerer Supreme, so on and so forth. So knowing that limbo is energy damage, you can also, at the very least, lessen the limbo damage itself. And there is mastery that gives you more energy resistance on top of everything else. But those are basically the three main ways how to defeat Magik. So you either prevent her from gaining power and filling bars of power, therefore she pretty much has no chance to trigger the limbo. Number two, reduce her ability accuracy with concussion, with other methods that are available, and make sure that she gains the power, but she has no ability accuracy, so she doesn't trigger the limbo. Or number three, you use champions that can bypass the damage itself. You do not do anything to her ability accuracy, you do let her gain power, but you just bring in champions that either take very little or take absolutely no damage from limbo. Right, so I do hope that this video has clarified how you guys can defeat Magiks everywhere, and using the information in this video, you should be good to be able to pretty much counter any Magik you encounter in MCOC. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, found it helpful, and if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons. I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about